Some of the games that I see on newly released pages are reasonably cheap. Nothing much over $10 except for some that may be reaching to the $20 range, but it generally seems like the content validates the cost. But once in a blue moon, I'll find one or two games, or even a couple of game developers, that are disgustingly, atrociously stepping over the cost limit, making me wonder if they were held at gunpoint when they made these prices. So to show you these, I piled a list of some of the most overpriced games I've found. And unfortunately, no, I'm not going to be buying them. Not because I'm poor, I mean, I'm swimming in billions, obviously, but you know, I'm just too lazy to press the buy button. But we will see some gameplay footage from the page, and truthfully, I think that's all we need to see. So let's get started. Starting off strong, the publisher named Heedy has the most horrific prices for games that I've ever seen. Like the first one mentioned at the beginning of the video, 3D Puzzle Hospital 2, is a game where you put objects laying outside into the hospital, and that's it, for $200. The publisher must have accidentally pushed the 0 button too many times because this game should be $2, and even that's a stretch. And if you look at all of the games made by Heedy, you can see around 150 other games, each of them grossly overpriced. There are some cheaper $6 ones, but those games are for poor people, right? There's a game called Abandoned Prison for another $200, and 2 other $160 games. And I'm just scratching the surface. Hey, post-production me. So as I was editing this, I found out that even though the price tag on the dev's page says $6, if you actually click on the actual game Steam page, the price actually shows as $200, not $6. And even other games priced at like $24 still show a price tag of $200 on the actual page, so that's cool. Now I understand this is a little over your price range, but don't worry, Heedy has you covered. There's a publisher bundle that before the deal has a collective price of $6,000, but has graciously marked it down to $600 for your convenience. So make sure to thank Heedy for the giant discount when you purchase it, because they're going to be behind on their Lamborghini payments from the almost $5,500 discount. But seriously, Heedy, bring down those prices if you want people to buy your games. The next developer on the chopping block is called Western Leaves, and the first game that I stumbled upon of theirs is called Small Maze. It's a game where you're leading a red block through different mazes to the green block. And you can already tell this kind of looks like lazy game design, but it gets way worse. If you look at the gameplay footage closely, in level 1 there's only one route to take, and that's straight to the green block. The entire other part of the maze is, I guess, there for decoration, in which case the whole maze might as well look like this. And that's even the same for the second stage and the third stage. And can you guess how much this is being charged for? $17. I don't want to assume that you're paying $17 for these levels that only give you one route in each maze, but all I'm saying is I only see 3 mazes on the Steam page. Looking at other games made by this dev, they actually have 3 more. One called Infinite Rebirth, where you're clicking on colors to reach the end goal, which I have still yet to figure out, priced at $12. Another game called Fighter Pixel, where you're literally just a white dot trying to dodge red dots horizontally, priced at another staggering $17. And lastly, a game that has almost the same premise, where you're operating a jet and have to dodge the bullets coming at you, priced for $17 as well. I mean, clearly this guy knows his worth, because I don't think I've ever seen games like these. I don't want to sound mean, but they have to know they're scamming people with these prices. Like, this stuff should be free. I get if you're a game dev starting out, but some games just shouldn't cost money. And the last developer that I want to talk about before we move on to individual games is called DD Games. Now, the first game that I ran into and really caught my eye is described by DD Games as a classic yet fresh take on the snake gameplay. As more blocks are consumed, the snake's body grows longer. The lyrical background music accompanies every move, creating a relaxed and enjoyable atmosphere. The goal is to extend the snake's length as much as possible, but beware not to let its head touch its own body or the screen borders, as doing so ends the game. With its minimalist yet refined visuals and smooth controls, this game is an ideal choice for casual entertainment. And you're probably thinking, wait, this kind of sounds exactly like the Snake game with no fresh take. And yes it does. It's called Combatant and is an exact copy but 3D version of Snake, except is less fun and more laggy and buggy. Like, for some reason in the gameplay trailer, the snake just falls through the floor, and DD Games decides to leave that in. So with all this information, could you wager a guess as to how much this game costs? If you guess $30, then you must be an amazing appraiser. If we look at other DD games, the only game that they have fully released is called Demolish, and is described as a road racer where the player drives a sports car down a challenging highway. From the gameplay, it definitely looks challenging because of the immense lag and few frames per second you're allowed. So because of all of these industry-leading features this game has, it's priced at a very low $40. DD Games has one more game that isn't published yet, but has a page to show gameplay, and yeah, more lag. I'd be pissed if this game wasn't at least a full-fledged AAA price tag of $60. I want to give these people the benefit of the doubt, but there's no way people are looking at this and thinking their game is reasonably priced. They're either naive or a scammer. Moving on to individual games, this first one I think wins the award for the best game title alone. Robot Dragon Eagle. Unreal Engine 4 game with a completely destructible open world. Looking at the gameplay footage, it definitely shows a destructible open world and someone absolutely destroying their keyboard or controller. but outside of that, it's almost all that I can see in this game. Just a robot dragon eagle tearing up a map. There might be a story and different dragons too, but from what I'm seeing on the Steam page, it's not looking good. And the price tag for robot dragon eagle? $30. For reference, Stray, the game about the cat, was almost $30 and was a nominee for the Game of the Year. So not only should I be able to destroy the world for $30, but I should also be able to destroy your mom. And the second to last terribly expensive game that I have is Tokyo Drive. It's described as a racing game that uses the location data of actual roads and buildings in Tokyo, Japan. You'd assume with that description that it might be another GTA 5 Los Santos to Los Angeles situation, but unfortunately, you're way off. Now, I've never been to Tokyo, but I'm pretty sure that Tokyo doesn't look like that. They might be right about the actual roads in Tokyo because I don't know the roads unlike my boy Han, but for $20, this doesn't scream purchase worthy. It's one of the cheaper games on this list, but it still seems like there isn't a good price to content ratio. The last game I saved best for last. I really have a gripe with these devs, and I might say they're even more greedy than the 3D puzzle publisher. Train Simulator Classic 2024 might seem like a wholesome game, just a game where you drive trains, and they even have mostly positive reviews to support that initial belief, but not only do they charge you $30 for the base game and $40 for the deluxe edition, but they have an entire 858 DLCs for a kids game. DLCs ranging from a single digital train being sold for $12, one new route through Austria being sold for $40, which is the cost of the deluxe edition of the game itself, and a wagon being sold for $10. Who's gonna be going around boasting about their $12 purchase for a train? And if you think it can't get any worse than that, Train Simulator 2024 Classic has a real subscription pass. Same subscription of mine that your mom pays for. Starting at $11 a month. Not even Overwatch, the game that's never not mentioned in the same breath as microtransactions, doesn't ask for this much money. The subscription says it adds a buttload of new routes and trains that actually seems like the correct amount of content for $11, but per month? Your entire game screams we do this for the money. To anyone watching that plays this game and even pays the DLCs, please put the money to better use like gambling. Microtransactions are bad enough, but $40 for a new railway? Never let people know. Maybe the fascination with trains is bigger than I thought, but even I'm not obsessed with anything enough to spend $40 on something so small and intangible. I felt a little bit bad ripping into the devs earlier in this video, but I have no problem ripping into the devs of Train Simulator Classic 2024. Now, if you like this video, how about you check out my other super cool video right here.